You mentioned, Ben, a little bit about fantasy, and for the people who are maybe getting to know Ben and Barry on football, you're the fantasy guy. I'm the Madden guy. So tell me, you were talking about what was happening all of a sudden in fantasy in the off season here.
Yeah, well, my two main leagues, we play the entire season, where the average fantasy league ends at week 16 or week 17, week 17 now, since the NFL added an 18th week. But we happen to play in these other two leagues, and they're on CBS through the entire season, which means that once the playoff teams have been established, all the players that are on the non-playoff teams go back into a pool, and then we redraft for the playoffs. And then when we get two winners out of that, then we redraft again for the Super Bowl. I know it sounds crazy and it sounds complicated, but it really isn't. But that being said, because we go that far, we also open up free agency on the same day that the NFL opens up free agency. The crazy thing is, though, you get to keep all the players that you had the previous year until what we call franchise night. It's a keeper league, meaning that when franchise night comes around, which is usually late in August, you have to declare which three people you're going to keep, which three players you want to keep. And then all the rest of your players go back into the pool for the draft. So right now, players that ordinarily nobody would be interested in, because most of everybody's franchise players are already on their teams and they have to decide who they're going to keep. Now, a guy like a Robert Woods all of a sudden becomes a little bit more valuable. People have to think, do I want to spend a $3 transaction fee to pick up Robert Woods in the offseason? I'm not going to do that if I'm not going to make him a keeper. Should I make him a keeper? Should I not make him a keeper? Let me look at the other guys I want to keep. So yeah, we play fantasy football all year round, and trades are going out. I just offered Travis Kelce to somebody, but he didn't want him.
You offered Travis Kelce?
Yeah, for a mere pittance, and the guy wouldn't take it. He'll be sorry.
Really? You don't think Travis Kelce is going to be productive next year?
Evidently, he didn't. Oh, you want to know why I'm trading him?
Yeah.
I need draft picks.
You need, okay, all right. And he should garner you a few.
I would think.
Well, obviously you weren't thinking correctly there, buddy, because the guy wasn't giving it up. What happened?
Well, am I wrong or is he?
Well, I don't know.
I didn't ask for number one.
The deal. So,
I didn't ask for.
As soon as you say Kelce, I'm thinking, wait a minute. They just traded Travis. I mean, they just traded the cheetah.
Right.
They got Juju.
Right.
I'd be throwing the ball to Travis a lot next season.
Right. Exactly. That's my best trade bait. But
that would be a top scorer on your fantasy team, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would, but I got several. Remember, I'm just coming off a championship.
Oh, excuse me, boy.
Yeah, I got other people I can keep.
Okay, all right. He's loaded, ladies and germs. He's loaded. If you're giving up Travis Kelce, you got something in the tank going on there that you ain't telling us about.
I got a little something.
You know, it's funny, Ben, on the Madden side, it really hit me when last week's show you mentioned that Mostert was traded. Because, you know, once you get outside of the season, right, it kind of goes back to, okay, well, you know, whatever players are there on your 52-man Madden roster, you can go ahead and play if they're not, you know, on injured reserve or something like that. And they update the rosters. So he was there, he was available. So I'm like, okay, great. I'm gonna get a head start on next year, working with Mostert, working with Mitchell, you know what I mean? Putting together some schemes, I already got the plays. It's just, you know, I'm noticing, okay, I'm running Mostert, right? Mitchell, you break through the line, you might go for 15. You know what I mean? If you're lucky, you might bust it all away. Mostert, he takes 2 or 3 moves, he's out. It was like, I'm like, oh my goodness, I can't wait till next season, right? I'm like getting all excited. Then you told me, well, he's gone to the Dolphins. And I'm like, oh, now he's still on my roster on Madden. They
Sure.
haven't, so in this off season with all of this, they don't make all of those changes. And not like all of a sudden he's on the Dolphins or anything.
Right.
They're going to hold that off to Madden 23 when they
And
come
that's
new.
the word I'm hearing from other Madden players out there, that they're going, man, I can't wait for Madden 23. Because, you know, guys like to play with certain teams. And now they've got these new players that they have to fit into their favorite team that they like to play with. So guys are dying for Madden 23.
I was cracking up when I looked, and I do believe this team called the Giants picked up this running back named Breida.
God.
Now it's your turn.
Yo, ladies and gentlemen, if you've been watching us for a while, you know Barry has a thing about certain players. I do too. And Matt Breida is one of them guys I have never believed in. And nor has he ever given me any reason to believe in him, besides the fact that he can run fast. Okay.
Oh
he hasn't made it as a full-time player on any team he's been on. And I think he's working on his third or fourth team now. But what are you gonna do? Giants got to have somebody to you know, fill out the roster. So what the heck?
Well, you know, we're going to do a couple different things, Benny. I'm looking here because I wanted to just check something here, because I had the same sort of reaction to a pickup that we had. So when you hearing about Breida and you're like, oh, okay, but that ain't making me happy.
I mean,
Tell me, should I be happy about Ray McCloud?
Ray McCloud.
Niners signed Ray McCloud.
Ray from the Eagles?
Was he with the Eagles? Is that where he came from?
Oh, no. I'm sorry. That's a different McCloud.
Yes.
A different McCloud.
Okay.
I'm not 100% sure about Ray. Is he a corner, safety?
He's a wideout.
A wideout?
And you ain't heard of him. And I'm like, we signed Ray. What?
I know the name. He's barely a number 3 receiver. What team did he come from? Oh, Steelers, right?
Dude,
I'm not getting anything right. I think he's like the 4th or 5th receiver from the Steelers. I'm not going to say he stinks or anything, but he didn't get much playing time. He hasn't been very productive so far in his career, but that doesn't mean that he can't shine on another team. Now, on your team, I don't know that there'll be an opening. This sounds, again, like the Breida trade. This is more for depth, probably, than anything else. I mean, people are touting the Niners to be Super Bowl contenders once again. So your team's pretty loaded, and you did get some quality pickups. So I say Ray McCloud is probably a depth type of addition.
All right. Well, let's take a look, Ben. What we're going to do, we're going to look at all 32 teams and take a kind of a quick look at what they've done based on an article and that sort of ranks all 32 teams.